from a technological point of view, academics is quite in agreement that we can feed the world by 2050, or basically double the amount of people in 2050 with a European diet. So that's not the issue. It's much more to create an environment that we can use the potential that we have. So we're talking about infrastructure, we're talking about open markets, we're talking about access to capital, research and development. Until 2 years ago, this was pretty much seen as the realm of government. And now private sector has seen that's also their responsibility. You see much more involvement of the private sector to solve these issues, so both the actual investments as well as creating the enabling environment, and that's a big change compared to 2 years ago. Really, private companies need to take responsibility, and they do. The problem right now is a multi-stakeholder problem. There is no company in the world or no government that can solve it on its own. So what you see is that many companies, and definitely the big companies, the Unilever's, the Nestle's, the Cargills of this world, are already seeking alliances with research organizations, with extension services and so on. Take the example of Nestle. Well, Paul Buck was here today, of course, but it's a very well-known example. They are setting up supply chains in emerging economies. In Pakistan, for instance, where they invested in refrigerated tanks in over 3,000 villages, basically, where they are educating farmers to teach them how to produce, how to take into account safety arrangements, hygiene factors, how to harvest and so on. So that's a private initiative, basically in an area, I would say, that traditionally people thought was the realm of government. What the government needs to do is basically to create an environment for companies to invest in. Like, for instance, you can give tax exemptions, you can give subsidies to bridge towards an open economy. So I think subsidies are never a long-term answer because they distort markets. But to bridge the gap to an open market, I think that's what you can do. So it's really partnering up and teaming up with companies. I think the other role that companies cannot play simply is to create open markets. Liberating trade. It's very important to produce the food where we can do it in the most efficient way. I think that becomes increasingly important because we have to double the amount of food in the next 30 to 40 years with probably half of the resources of land, water and minerals. So that by definition means that you have to do it efficiently and sustainably. And without open markets, that's not going to happen.